So once again, good afternoon. Today we're going to discuss promissory notes, simple and we're going to compare simple interest notes and simple discount notes and the discount process. Okay, so our learning objectives include this one. Okay, first, we'd like to understand what's the difference between interest-bearing and non-interest-bearing notes. Okay, notes are just like IOUs. Parang it's a promissory note. It means you're going to promise to pay something, to pay an amount that you borrowed at a specific point in time, after how many periods, after how many days, for example, and what interest are you going to pay your IOUs with. So if there's an interest, it's called interest-bearing note. Otherwise, it's a non-interest-bearing note. Of course, oftentimes, the non-interest-bearing note is just more on an accommodation, and it does not usually happen. Kasi syempre, pag uutang ka, the lender, of course, will seek the cost of lending the money to you. So the non-interest-bearing note, usually it can be among friends or among sister companies. That can happen, but it's more of the exception than the norm. Kasi even within sister companies, for example, hindi nagpapaano din ng non-interest-bearing kasi kahit papaano we record the performance of each of the individual companies. So oftentimes then may interest-bearing din yung borrowing of or lending between sister companies, for example. And then we're going to compare the interest, maturity value, proceeds, effective rate of a simple interest note to that of a simple discount note. So how do you compute for the interest, maturity value, proceeds, and effective rate for a simple interest note and a simple discount note? Okay, then we're going to also explain and calculate the effective rate for a treasury bill. Then next set of objectives will be, this will be more of a review. Find the principal rate time of a simple interest note. Okay, we have discussed this before. Okay, if you know the interest, you can compute for the principal. Of course, that's assuming that the rate and the time are given. You can also compute for the rate if you know the principal and the time, and we can also compute for the time if we know the principal and the rate, and of course, if we know the interest. Okay, and then we find the face value or the maturity value and bank discount rate and time of simple discount note. Okay, and then towards the end, I think we won't be able to reach this yet, so this will come next session. Calculate the maturity value, bank discount, and proceeds of discounting an interest-bearing note before maturity. Okay, so this is the thing that we have to look into here. So you can sell your, for example, you have a note, you have a promise from a company that is going to pay you in 60 days. You can sell that. You can sell that note to another, let's say, company. Okay, and that's what we call discounting the interest-bearing note before maturity. So we'll take a look at that in the next Tuesday. Okay, so this is an example of a promissory note. I think I gave an introduction to you about this last time. Okay, so this is the structure of a promissory note. 10,000, 60 days after date, we promise to pay to the order of GJ Equipment Company, $10,000 in this case, payable at Able National Bank, value received with an interest of 9%, Regal Corporation. Okay, so this, of course, promissory notes can be written in another form. So sample lang to. Okay, there are other forms by which one can write a promissory note. But what's important here is that we have here the face value. Okay, this is the amount borrowed. In this case, the amount borrowed is 10,000. Now, the face value is also the principal of the note. So pareho lang yon, face value tapos si principal. Okay? The term is the length of time that the money is borrowed. In this case, 60 days. Yan. Si B, 60 days. Tapos, letter C, the date the note is issued here. So the note was issued October 2, 2017. This is payable in 60 days. And we know how to count 60 days after October 2, 2017. The payee is a company extending the credit. So the payee is the lender. In this case, si GJ Equipment Company. Siya nagpapautang. No? Okay? And the amount, okay, nakalagay dito. Saan yung amount dito? Ayan. The amount is 10,000. Nakulitan pala to, no? Payable at Able National Bank. So, saan babayaran? So, babayaran daw sa Able National Bank with the rate equivalent to 9%. That's letter E. And then the maker is the company issuing the note. Sila nagsasabing IOU. No? IOUs to eh. Okay, the one making the note is the one borrowing. Okay, the company issuing the note and borrowing the money. And that's Regal Corporation. And the maturity date is December 1, 2017. So binilang na, no? From October 2, 60 days hence, will be December 1, 2017. Okay? So this is just an example of a structure of the of a promissory note. Okay, so we need to know certain terminologies. So there are just 5 here that we want to look into. Number 1, simple discount note. So this is a note. A note is an IOU. It's a loan, no? Uutang ka, where the interest is deducted in advance. So let's just, okay. Hindi lang ha. All right. So simple discount note. Simple because it has something to do with the computation of the interest or the discount. Parang sa interest, di ba? Simple interest or the interest is equal to PRT. Nangyari dito sa mga digital pad. Okay, dito yung discount. No? So discount is equal to, simple lang siya. So it's the face value times the discount. Face value times the discount times time. Okay? So similar lang sa pag-compute ng interest, which is principal times rate times time. So discount is the face amount times the discount times time. Kaya simple lang siya ganyan. Kasi kapag compound na class, iba na yung ano nun, 1 plus R raised to the T na. So this is now the compound rate. 1 plus R raised to the T. Ang simple, PRT lang. Of course, there's this principle here. Principal times 1 plus R raised to the T. This is not the compound factor. While this one is the simple interest factor. This is the simple discount factor. Okay, ang pagkakaiba niya, yung time is just multiplied. Sa compound factor, yung time is raised. It's exponentiated. So that's a difference. Okay, so simple discount note, note lang to. The loan, ang difference niya, yung loan interest is deducted in advance. So for example, I'm going to borrow 10,000. Okay, so nag-issue ako ng discount note. Yung 10,000 yan, hindi ko makukuha ngayon yan. ang makukuha ko lang what we call the proceeds. And it's an amount, for example, 9,980. As an example, 9,980. 9,980. In other words, binawas yung 20 pesos. Yun yung discount. Okay, and then at the end of the period, let's say after, let's say 90 days, I'm now going to pay the face amount, yung 10,000, which is also the maturity value. So pag nag-loan ako, pag discount note siya, what I'm going to get is not the face amount. The face amount here is 10,000. What will happen is that i-compute na yung discount or quote-unquote, yung interest, ibabawas na yun. Ibabawas na siya, tapos what I'll be getting is an amount which we call proceeds. Proceeds ang tawag dyan, which is different from the face value. Mag-iiba siya. Unlike kung simple interest note, manghihiram ako ng 10,000, makukuha ko yung buong 10,000. Okay? Then after 90 days, babayaran ko na yung principal or the face value, which is 10,000, plus the interest. Okay, so that's the difference between a simple discount note and a simple interest note. So let me again clarify that. Simple discount note, pag mag-i-issue ako ng note, hihiram ako ng 10,000, what I'm going to get, the proceeds, is not the 10,000. It's a 10,000 less the discount amount. Sa interest, naman, sa simple interest note, hindi. Kung ano yung inutang ko, kung ano nakalagay dun sa note na 10,000, yun ang makukuha ko, yung 10,000. Pag babayaran ko na siya, ang babayaran ko, yung face amount, which is the 10,000, plus the interest. Dito naman, sa discount, ang babayaran ko yung mismo, yung face amount. So, yung maturity value nito sa discount is the same as the face amount. Sa interest note naman, yung maturity value niya, hindi pareho ng face amount. Kasi sa interest, ang face amount natin itong 10,000, pero ang maturity value niya will be 10,000 plus whatever the interest is. Diba? If you recall, the maturity value will always be the principal plus the interest. That's the case of a simple interest note. Pero pag simple discount note, yung hihiramin natin na nakalagay dun sa note na 10,000, ang makukuha lang natin yung net na, yung proceeds natin is the net. Okay, I hope I have explained it clearly. Okay, next, the bank discount is the interest that the banks deduct or the lender. Okay, in general, the lender deduct in advance. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa atin kanina. So if we only get 9,980, the bank or the discount, the amount of the discount there is 20 pesos. Okay, if you get only 9,900, therefore the discount is 100. Okay, so it's the interest that the lender deducts in advance. So binabawas yun sa face value. Okay, so that what we get is only the proceeds. Okay, then the maturity value. Okay, magkaiba din ang maturity value kapag simple discount at saka simple interest. Kapag simple discount, okay, the maturity value is equal to the face value. Diba? Yung face value, ito yung nakalagay dun sa note. No? Nakalagay that I owe you, ganyan, I borrowed, ganyan, or the for value received of 10,000. That's what we call the face value. Yun makikita sa face, dun sa papel mismo, sa note, 10,000. And the face value for a discount note is the same as the maturity value. Kasi ang babayaran natin kapag discount note, 10,000 din. Bakit wala ng interest? Dinidak na, no? Dinidak na yung interest na nakuha na initially sa simulan-simula. Okay, and we call that the bank or discount in general. All right? Sorry, ito pala yung maturity value, no? For a discount note, the maturity value is just the same as the face value. However, for a simple interest, the maturity value is not the same as the face value. The maturity value will be greater than the face value kung simple interest. Kasi kinakarga dun sa dulo, pagbabayaran na, kinakarga dun sa market value, maturity value, yung interest na babayaran. So therefore, mas mataas yung maturity value kapag simple interest note yung pinag-uusapan natin. Okay? So, clear tayo so far? Class, pause muna ako doon. Clear ba yung difference ng ng simple discount sa simple interest in terms of maturity value? Pa-chat naman please. Okay, thank you. About the rest?
Clear po.
Salamat. Thank you. By the way, I was told that there is at least 2 of you who might be doing online, purely online. Let's talk after the class. Kasi let's arrange. Let's see how we can arrange that. Okay. All right. So where am I now? All right. Let's go to the proceeds. Proceeds is simply what the borrower will receive at the onset. Okay, so simple discount note, the proceeds will be 9980. Okay? So simple interest, the proceeds will be 10,000, the face value. Okay? So yun lang, no? This is the amount the borrower receives after the bank deducts its discount from the loan's maturity value. So kung discount yun, pero kung simple interest yun, wala naman i-deduct, therefore the proceeds will be the face value or the principal. Yun din yun. Hindi pa tayo sinisingil ng interest. Sa discount, sisingilin ka kagad ng interest. Okay? So, from the perspective of the borrower, syempre mas maganda yung interest, no? Simple interest. From the perspective of the lender, mas maganda yung simple discount. Okay? Kasi syempre, makukolect na kagad niya yung interest. Okay? And the bank discount rate is simply the percent of interest. Okay, let's go to an example. Okay, so here we have Pete. May choice siya, no? So hihiram kasi siya 2 different notes that both have a face value. Pareho lang yung face value or yung principal, 14,000. So it's for 60 days. Yung isa, simple interest rate, 8%. The other naman, simple discount rate, 8%. Ang tanong, Pete is in this case, sabihin natin siya yung manghihiram, no? Siya yung mag-i-issue ng note. Kasi pwede rin siya yung magpapahiram, no? So here, Pete is the one issuing the note. So nag-iisip siya, mag-aano ba ako ng simple interest o simple discount? Pareho lang yung tenor. Parehong 14,000, parehong 8%. Ang pinapatanong sa atin, i-calculate daw natin yung interest, yung maturity value, yung proceeds, and effective rate for both scenarios, no? For both instances. Sige. So bago natin tingnan yung slides, tayo na lang muna mag-solve. So help me solve this, guys. Let's do this step by step. So let's take a look first at yung simple interest, no? Simple interest versus simple discount. Okay. So here, ito yung date na the transaction was conducted. So ang principal dito, what's the principal here? Class? Kindly unmute yourself na lang. Ano yung principal dito?
14,000.
Yes, correct. No, 14,000. Another name for the principal is what?
Face value.
Face value.
Face value. Good. Correct. Face value siya. Okay. So for simple interest, what will be the proceeds. Let me just write it by P sub R. Ano yung proceeds dito sa simple interest? The proceeds is class. What will be the proceeds? Yung amount na makukuha natin. Rafi, yung 14,000, are you answering proceeds?
Sir, sorry?
Are you answering the proceeds? Is your answer 14,000 for the proceeds?
For proceeds,
Or yung kanina yun?
I think
So what's the proceeds? Simple interest. Hihiram tayo ng 14,000. What will be the proceeds?
14,000 pa rin.
I think it's
Yes.
40,000, sir.
Correct. Tama, no? Thank you. No? Tama. 14,000 pa rin. Okay. Sorry medyo naglolo ko tong digital pen ko. So you're correct. 14,000 kasi pag simple interest, walang interest na ibabawas. No? Okay? And then, so sabi daw 60 days to, no? 60 days. Okay. Ano yung interest na mai-incur dito sa simple interest? Alam natin ang formula nito ay is equal to the principal times the rate times the time, di ba? So what will this be? The interest will be, the principal is 14,000. Okay. The rate is 8%. And the time is, what's the time? 60 days. Okay, and then we have to convert the 60 days into year. So this is 60 divided by 360. Bakit 360? Bakit ordinary ginagamit natin? Kasi class, pag walang sinasabi exact, which means we're going to use 365 or ordinary, then we're going to use 360, no? Yung ordinary. Okay, so can somebody please tell me what's the interest?
186.67.
Okay, thank you. 186.67. So we know what's the interest, 186.67. So what will be our maturity value?
14,186.67.
Yeah, correct. Thank you. Thank you. 14,186.67. Yan ang maturity value kasi si maturity value idadagdag natin yung principal which is 14,000. Okay, sorry. So sa simple interest, we have studied this before already, no? So quick review lang to. So umutang si Pete ng 14,000, ang proceeds niya 14,000 din. 60 days to, and at 8% interest rate, makukuha natin yung interest, which is equal to PRT. Principal is 14,000, rate is 8%, and the time is 60 days divided by 360 yun, to convert into year. So we get 186.67. Therefore, ang babayaran after 60 days is 14,186.67. Why? Because that's the maturity value. A maturity value is 14,000, the principal plus the interest rate. Okay? All right. Let me pause for a while. Any question? Actually, review na lang yan, no? Ng simple interest natin. Any question about this? Any question about the face value, the principal, the proceeds, okay, and the market value, maturity value, okay? Ang hindi pala natin dyan nasasagot yung ano. Sige, sagutin na natin effective rate, guys. Okay. What will be the effective rate? Okay, where's my pen? Okay. Let's compute here for the effective rate. Okay, the rate, effective R na nalalagay ko. This will be equal to the interest, okay, divided by, okay, naalala nyo, di ba? PRT to, di ba? So mawawala dito yung R kasi yun yung sinusolve natin. Yung P na lang times the time. But the P here will be the proceeds, P sub R. Okay? So P sub R to, no? The proceeds. Sorry. Okay, so let's compute for the effective rate. How much is the interest? How much is the interest, class?
186.67 po, sir.
Okay, 186.67. Yun ang interest natin, di ba? And then divided by, what's our proceeds? The money that we got, it's 14,000. Di ba? 14,000. Masyadong maliit na tong ano. Walang sulat. So 186.67 divided by 14,000 multiplied by, what's your T? 60 over 360. Okay. Can somebody please compute for that? 186.67 divided by 14,000 divided by 1 over 6.
Sir, 0.08 po.
0.08.
8.
Okay, good. You're correct, no? 8% or 0.08. Okay, so what does that tell us?
Sir, that it's the same interest as stated in the given problem.
Yes, correct. So for a simple interest, the effective rate is just the same as what we call the stated or nominal rate. Yung stated, yun yung nag-a-appear dun sa ano, sa note, no? At 6%, 8% interest daw. So yung effective rate natin is just the same as your stated or nominal rate if it's simple interest. Okay? What about if it's simple discount? Let's see what happens. If they're the same, kung pareho lang ba? Sige, i-compute din natin yung, okay. Kaya may mali tong ano ko. At kaya parang nag-aano siya, nag-revert, nag-aano. Okay, sandali ah. So let me, okay. So gamit lang akong may bagong slides. Hindi nakasya dun sa isa. Okay. So this is now simple discount. Okay, so we have, this is the day the contract was agreed upon. So the face value or the principal is just the same at 14,000. 14,000 lang siya. Okay, ang tanong, what is the proceeds in this case? And this is payable in 60 days, no? 60 days. Okay, so we're going to answer also what's the maturity value in this case. So whatever we answered dun sa simple interest, sasagutin din natin dun sa and also the effective rate. Okay, so number one, the face value or the principal is 14,000. What will be the proceeds? We know that for a simple discount, we do not get 14,000. We have to compute for the discount. Okay, so let's just call this, I'll call it D, no? D, and the D is equal to whatever the face value is.
As fade.
Gawin na, tawagin doon natin
Ang
itong,
hirap ng Hyrox. I died a lot.
okay.
Even Rushdie died a lot. He was like, he was bottom fragging a while ago.
Pa-silent na lang please ha.
Kompe. Yeah.
Luis. Hello, Luis.
Hello. Oh,
Hello ka rin, Luis.
ay sorry, sir.
Naglalaro ka yata, hindi ka nakikinig
Ah,
sa
no.
question natin, ha? Ano yung kampe-kampe? What's that?
Hello?
Yeah. Pakimute mute na lang kita, Luis. Okay. So this is our, let's just call the discount as B para the face value multiplied by the discount rate multiplied by your time. Okay? So sa simple discount note, you're given the discount rate. Okay? And this is equal to the face value is 14,000 also. Huh? Tapos si discount is 8% then. Tapos si time is also 60 divided by 360. So everything is the same, di ba? 40, in this case lang, ha? Pero pwede rin naman magkaiba, no? 14,000, 8%, 60 over 360. This is also 180, ano yun? 186 point, what was that? 186.67 ba? Class, tama ba?
Yes
Yes, sir,
po.
that's correct.
Okay.
Same thing, sir.
All right, thank you. 186.67, just the same as the interest kanina, no? So this is just discount. So we're not going to receive 14,000, but rather what we're going to receive is 13,000, but 813.33. Okay, so that's the discount. 13. Oops. Okay, sandali ah. Wala na naman tong. Right. Ano naman siya? Okay, 13,813.33. Okay, this is now the proceeds. So we're not getting 14,000, we're getting 13,813. Yes, Kurt? Last question? Sige.
How'd you get the 13,000 again?
Yeah, okay. It's a face value minus the discount. Okay, kasi
okay.
discount natin 186. So this will be subtracted from the face value.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kurt, for that question. So 14,000 less 186.67, you get 13,813. Okay, sa perspective ng isang borrower, hindi maganda to. Kasi later on, we'll study the principle of the time value of money. You would prefer 1,000 today as compared to 1,000 1 year from now. So mas maganda yung 14,000 ngayon compared to 13,813. Yeah, so kasi mas malaki yung proceeds mo and you can do something with the excess proceeds. All right? So this will be our proceeds 13,813. And then the maturity value for this one will be how much? Class? How much will be the maturity value? So
14,000.
yes, thank you. 14,000 din. Okay? 14,000. All right. Therefore, if this was the agreement, how much would be the effective rate? Okay, kanina we were able to show that for a simple interest, the effective rate will also be the same as your stated rate, 8%. How about for a simple discount? Okay, ano yung effective rate natin? Okay, so let's compute for that. Our effective rate is simply equal to the interest, or in this case, the discount, divided by the proceeds times your time. No? So this is equal to the discount. Okay, what's a discount? 186.67 divided by the proceeds. The proceeds is 13,813.33. So that's our proceeds. Multiply that by 60 over 360. The time. Okay. Could you kindly compute for that, please?
0.08.
0.08 eksakto?
Joke lang po.
Dagdagan mo pa ng decimal. So, somebody please, you can use Excel or your calculator if you have your calculator. Yes,
0.081
Sir, 8.1%.
8.1. Ano yung kanina? 8.13? 8.1 what? 3 ba or 2?
Sir, earlier, the for simple interest.
Ah, hindi. Kanina 8% yung... Ngayon dito. Round it off to the 2 decimal places. 8 what? 1 what?
0. Oh,
In decimal, in percentage, it's 8 what? 8.1, ano? Dagdagan pa natin isang decimal place. 1.
0.
Tama ba?
0 is the next one.
0 what?
0.8. So
0.8.
8.8.
So 8.11, no? Rounded off natin. 8.11. Tama? Masusulat. 8.11%. Correct, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes
Alright.
po.
Therefore, yung interest rate ng borrower, no? The effective rate is actually 8.11%. Okay, sa simple discount. So notice that the effective rate for a simple discount is higher. Mas mataas siya. So from the perspective of the borrower, okay, anong mas pipili niya dapat? Yung simple interest na option or simple discount option?
I think simple interest, sir, because he has to, I mean, the rate is less.
Correct, no? So tama. We compare it based on the effective rate. So, si simple interest, ang effective rate niya 8%. Si simple discount, ang effective rate niya 8.11%. So, ibig sabihin, he's going to pay effectively more for that loan. Now, from the perspective of the lender, mas gusto niya yung simple discount, di ba? Kasi pag simple interest, ang effective rate, ang effective earning niya is 8%. Pero pag simple discount, effectively, the lender is earning 8.11%. Okay? So it depends on whose perspective we're looking at. No? Yung problem na to, we were looking at the perspective of the borrower. No? Sabi natin, kung si borrower ang titingnan natin, mas maganda sa kanya yung simple interest. No? Kasi if we base it on the effective rates, okay, based on the effective rates, kasi pareho lang naman yung hinihiram niya, di ba? Pareho lang yung face value. Pareho lang naman yung terms, yung days. Okay, so, but the effective rate for the simple discount is higher. Okay, kasi nga, at the onset, hindi naman talaga 14,000 yung makukuha natin ni Pete, no? Ang makukuha niya 13,813. Okay? So this has something to do with the time value of money. Where 1 peso today is better than 1 peso after 1 year. Kasi nga money has cost. Okay? So, any questions about this example so far? Class? Okay, sige. Yes, Victor?
Sir, question na po. Saan po nanggaling yung maturity value ng 14,000?
Okay. Saan nanggaling itong maturity value ng 14,000? Okay, di ba sabi natin, kapag simple discount, yung face value is the same as the maturity value. Pareho lang.
Okay po. Thank you po.
Right? So ang hiniram natin, 14,000, pero ang ibibigay lang sa atin, 13,813. At the end of the 60 days, ang babayaran natin, 14,000. Kasi binawas na yung interest. No? Binawas na. Unlike yung simple interest, babayaran na natin interest at the end of the period, at the end of the term. Okay? Yes, Migs?
Sir, yung 60 over 360 po, yung 60 is like the exact number of days and the 360 is from the ordinary interest po.
Yeah, yung 60, yun ang nasa note. No?
Okay.
Yun ang agreement natin. No? Yun ang agreement yung sinabi ni Pete na, I promise to pay in 60 days this amount. Okay? At this interest rate. Yung 360,
Okay, sir.
Okay, sige. Thank you. Yung 360 naman, di ba dalawang klase yan, either the exact or the ordinary. in the absence of any any qualification, parang yung rate, no? Pag hindi sinasabi kung anong klaseng rate yan, annual lagi yan. Ganon din dito, class, pag days ang pinag-uusapan natin, pag hindi sinasabi, automatic yun dapat dapat 360. Okay, I saw two other hands, please. What was your, please kindly. I'm sorry, I wasn't able to call you immediately. Yes, sige. Sino to? Si Kurt. Yes, please, Kurt. And Mateo.
So is the maturity value of simple discount, simple interest different?
Yeah, oo, magkaiba sila, no?
Okay.
Ang maturity, yeah, sige.
What else is also like different?
Yung different, yung proceeds.
Proceeds and maturity
Magkaiba
value.
yung proceeds, magkaiba yung maturity value, magkaiba yung effective rate.
Okay.
Bale, yung days kasi pareho lang yon, no? 60 days pareho. Yung phase or yung principal pareho lang. Nagkakaiba sila sa proceeds. Yung interest, kung pareho lang naman sila, no? Kung parehong 8% and pareho lang kakalabasan yung interest at saka yung discount. Okay? So naiiba yung proceeds, yung maturity value at saka yung effective rate.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Sir, I have 2 questions po.
Yeah, go ahead. Sino to?
Mateo po.
Mateo, sige, please.
So sir, ibig sabihin po sir, tig-isang effective rate yung simple interest at discount.
Magkaiba sila, no?
Apo, tig-isa sila kailangan may effective rate.
Yeah, oo.
Okay.
Oo.
Then kailangan pong makuha muna yung simple interest before mo makuha yung simple discount.
No, not necessarily. Magkaiba sila. Parang pwede mo unahin yung simple.
Pwede.
Yeah,
okay.
di ba ito, kunyari ito Kasi binigay naman sa atin sa problem. Yeah? Let me flash again the screen, no? Yung sample problem. Sabi dito, one note has a simple interest rate of 8%, while the other note has a simple discount rate of 8%. We could have opted to solve first the simple discount. So walang kinalaman yung computation ng simple interest dun sa simple discount. They are separate. Okay?
Oh, okay po. Sige,
magkaiba
gets ko.
sila, no? We were able to get answers separately. Okay? Wala tayong kailangan na gamitin from the simple interest problem na gagamitin natin to sa simple discount. There are two different transactions. Okay? Mateo, did that answer your question?
Yes po sir, thank you po.
Okay, sige. Okay, thank you. Guys, may question pa dito. Si Viv. What is the formula for simple discount? Okay, for simple discount, iba yung formula natin. Ganun din, no? This is the formula for the simple discount. Yung face value multiplied by the discount rate, which in this case, pareho lang siya dun sa interest rate times the time. Yung interest kasi natin, di ba, PRT, ito, just to distinguish it from PRT, we're using FDT. Or pwede rin itong PDT. Kasi yung face is just the same as the principal. So nagkaiba lang, yung isa rate, interest rate, ito naman, discount. Okay? Did that answer your question, Viv?
Yes, po, sir.
Okay, good. Class, I'm very, very happy, with you giving your questions. I really appreciate it. No? Kasi una-una, it tells us na you're interested in the lesson. Tapos pangalawa, it's a good practice to already clarify kung may mga haziness na sa pag-explain ko. Yes, Richmond, please.
Sir, pwede nyo po ulitin paano nyo po nakuha yung effective rate. Di ko po kasi makuha yung 11%, sir.
Sige. Okay, thank you for that question. Okay, so the formula for effective rate will be, okay, whatever the interest is, para dun sa simple interest, para sa discount naman, yung discount natin. Okay, so pareho lang naman yung concept niyan, yung si interest at saka si discount. So whatever the discount is in this case, divided by the proceeds times the time. Okay, ang gagamitin natin yung proceeds, hindi yung face value. Okay? So you have to know first the proceeds. But how do we compute for the proceeds? Ang gagawin natin, i-compute muna natin si discount. And what's the formula for the discount? It's the principal times the discount times time. principal or face value. Dito, ang face value natin given 14,000. Ang discount rate is 8% and then ang time 60. And then we're using 60 divided by 360. Bakit ginamit natin 360 hindi 365? Pag hindi sinasabi kung exact or ordinary, gamitin si ordinary. So 360 yung divisor natin dito. And from here, we got the discount at 186.67. Itong discount na to, ima-minus natin sa face value, 14,000, para makuha natin yung proceeds. So isipin nyo, umutang tayo ng 14,000. I'm sorry, I'm speaking Tagalog. We borrowed 14,000. We're only getting 13,813.33 because that's the nature of a simple discount. You do not get the whole amount. You only get the net, the proceeds. So that how do you get the proceeds? That's the face value or the principal minus whatever the discount amount is. Okay. In this regard, the simple discount and the simple interest are different because for the simple interest, we get the whole amount. We get the face value or the principal. That will be our proceeds. Okay. So once we have computed for the proceeds, okay, you know already the discount, you know the proceeds, and of course you know the time. It's given 60 over 360. So you can now substitute the discount is 186.67 divided by the proceeds, which is 13,813.33, and then multiply the proceeds by 60 over 360. That's the time, 60 days, correct? And then if you compute for this, you get 8.11%. So that's how we got the effective rate. So what's the implication? For the simple discount, the rate, the borrowing rate of the borrower of Pete is 8.11%. So in a sense, he'll be paying a higher interest rate, 8.11%, yung effective rate niya. If he had chosen a simple interest, he would have just effectively paid 8% lang. Okay? Kasi we know that the simple interest, for the simple interest, the stated rate, the interest rate, or the nominal rate will always be equal to the effective rate. So pareho lang siya. Okay? So ano mas maganda? Yung simple interest, simple discount.
Simple interest, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Tapos yung ng sentence na to, it depends on what perspective you're looking at. If you're looking at the perspective of the borrower, mas maganda yung simple interest. If you're looking at the perspective of the lender, mas maganda si simple discount. Okay? Richmond, did that answer your question? Were you the one who asked that? Sino ba yung nagtanong? Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So, okay, good. So, sino pa may questions? Si Viv. Proceeds. Okay. Viv, is that your question? Okay. Ang proceeds will be whatever the face value is. Okay, the face value minus the discount. Okay, face value natin 14,000. Minus natin yung discount na 186.67. Therefore, what we're getting is 13,813.33. Okay, Viv, did that answer your question?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you, Viv, for that question. Richmond, my question pa?
Sir, wala na po.
Okay, sige. Any other questions? Guys, thank you so much. No? Yeah, meron pa mga question. I appreciate your questions. Sige. Si Ethan, and then si Kurt.
Hi, sir.
Yes.
From my understanding, the reason from a borrower's perspective it's worse to take a simple discount
Yes.
is for I see two reasons, right? Because as you explained to the time value of money, it's
Yeah.
nicer to have more money at a given period because
Yes.
it's worth less in the future. And you know, the interest relative to the discount, relative to the proceeds given the simple discount would be more if you were
Yes.
to look at it percentage wise.
Yeah,
But
correct. Correct.
to calculate, sir, for the time value of money, is there a specific formula that we use so that we can see just how bad it is given the number for the sake of the borrower?
All right. That's a very good question. Thank you so much for Ethan. Okay, is it okay to postpone the answer for a while, no? Because we will
Of
be
course, sir.
taking that up when we go to time value of money. But
Okay, sir.
really thank you for that question. Sige, ang gagawin natin, okay. Okay, kasi what we can do is, so this is the proceeds, di ba? Yung 13,813. And then, ito yung hiniram natin. Tapos ito yung, okay, sige, tingnan natin. Let me, okay. Okay. Very excellent question, Ethan. So let me open Excel. Okay, kasi I will have to introduce here some functionalities. So ang present value niya, diba? 13,813 point, tama ba to? Was it 813? Is this the amount?
0.33, sir.
0.33. Okay, sige. Okay, and the future value is 14,000. Yung ginawa natin kanina, let me just present you. Okay, so this was the amount that we borrowed. Technically, ito lang hiniram natin, ano? Kasi ito lang binigay sa atin, 13,813. And then, ang babayaran natin is 14,000. Yung time natin, time is 60, which we will have to divide by 316. All right. You can make use of the function in Excel, meron tayong rate. So this is just to show you how we compute in Excel yung effective rate. So rate, okay, so ito sinabi, no? Returns the interest rate per period of a loan. Okay, so tingnan natin ano yung mga parameters niya. And per, what's the number of periods? This is 60 divided by 360. No? That's the period. That's the number of days. Comma, PMT. Kaya nga I didn't want at the moment yet to introduce this to you. PMT is just an annuity. So hindi pa natin kinukuha ang annuity. Then your present value is this one. Okay. So since it's a loan, so this is positive, as you will receive that now. And then future value is negative because we're going to pay that. Okay, just showing you this functionality in Excel. And then we didn't mind the type and the guess, kasi in type and the guess, that's for annuities. And this is not an annuity. An annuity is a uniform stream of cash flows, which we're going to study next. All right, so let's just take a look at this. Okay, so dito kasi, ang lumalabas, okay, so lumalabas nga dito ang effective rate natin, 8.39% kasi, wait, ano ba ginamit natin? 13,813. Did you use 13,813.33 class? 13,813.33. Tama naman. So, tapos, ang ano natin, 60 divided by 360. So, sinet nyo ba sa calculator, guys? 8.11 talaga yung lumalabas. Kasi dito sa Excel, 8.39%. Okay. Any difference could be attributable to a rounding off error. Sino yung gumamit? Who were the ones who used the calculator a while ago? Yes?
I think hindi po nasama yung 0.33 kanina sa na-calculate.
Okay. All right.
Kaya nag-iba dyan po.
All right. Sige. So, a while ago, hindi nasama yung 0.33, 13,813.
I just did a calculation again on calculator right now with the 33.
Okay.
It's still 8.11, sir.
8.11. Okay, so may discrepancy tayo, ano? Okay. we have a discrepancy. Dito sa Excel ang lumalabas. In Excel, I'm going to use the rate function, it's 8.39%. Okay, so we will have to decipher kung saan galing yung discrepancy, ano? Because dito we directly computed for it using 186.67. Okay, so I think that's where the discrepancy lies. If we use instead, could you kindly try 186.66666? Make it as many 6 as possible. Can you check that? Kasi nag-round off tayo dito eh. We made it into 67. So instead of 0.66, 67, could you use 186.6666666? Or if you have a scientific calculator, it can be 186 and 2/3. Let's try to see if we still get 8.11 because of rounding off. I think that's the main difference. So going back to the question of Ethan while somebody is computing, yes, Ethan, it can be shown, of course. It can be shown, but this one is already the proof. No? The effective rate tells us what interest rate is really being used in this case, in our simple discount. Okay, and we'll have more of that when we go to the time value of money. And in the time value of money, it's a lot to present that because we're using Excel. So we're going to learn many types of functionalities, and it will make really our computation a lot easier. Okay, but let's just suspend our further discussions about this later on. Ethan, did that? I hope that satisfied your question, but you're correct. Your observation is very correct. And it can be shown really mathematically that there's a difference. Okay? So, may nag-compute na ba? Did somebody compute? 186.66666 and then divided by the proceeds. What? It's still the same. Okay, 8.11. Okay, so kahit na point. So I'm not sure where that's coming from. In difference ito sa if this was okay. If I increase this, hindi. Okay. Let me, oops. If I used 14,000, so the proceeds is 14,000 minus, what's the, okay, 14,000 times 1 plus your R is 8%. Okay. Sorry, this should be minus 8% times 360 over 360. Okay, so this time I'm using the proceeds itself. So that's 14,000 minus 14,000 times 8% times 60 over 360. That gives us this one. No? Still 88.39%. Okay, so I'll just have to check this, guys. There's a different. It gives us a different rate. Sa calculator, it gives us 8.11. Dito, ang binibigay sa atin is 8.39%. Okay, so there's a discrepancy. I'm not sure why there's a discrepancy, but what we can see here also is that this rate, which is the effective rate, is different from the rate that we used here. Okay, yung rate dito 8%, eh, no? Ang effective rate dito lumalabas is 8.39%. So mas mataas pa rin talaga. Ito yung it's higher, no? It's higher compared to the nominal rate of 8%. So although the values might not be the same, they might not agree, but we can all conclude with certainty that indeed for a simple discount, the effective rate will always be higher than the simple interest. Okay. All right. Thank you again, Ethan, for that question. That's a great question. So it's actually a question for the next lessons that we'll be learning. Okay. So I think there was another one who raised his hand. May question pa ba? Is there any other question? Are there other questions? Okay, if none, then may I continue, class? So let me continue. All right, so this one, I'm going to give this to you. It's just the computation itself. So it's the same. Computing for the interest, computing for the bank discount. So this is the interest, this is the bank discount, the same, 186.67. And then computing for the maturity value. Okay, the maturity value here is the face value plus the interest, which is 14,186.67. Here, for the simple discount, the maturity value is 14,000, the same as the face value. And then the proceeds for the simple interest is 14,000. Okay, for the proceeds for the simple discount is equal to 13,813.33. Okay, so we have here the effective interest, effective rate for the simple interest. It's also 8%. So the formula is interest over proceeds times time. On the other hand, here it's interest over proceeds times time. Same thing, but the proceeds is different. So you got, okay, tama yung computation nyo, 8.11. I still have to check with the rate kung bakit sa Excel, why it's giving us 8.39. Okay. So the effective rate for the simple discount is higher, which means from the perspective of the borrower, mas mataas to. So if you were the borrower, you would want that the agreement be a simple interest, okay, instead of a simple discount. Okay, so this is just to summarize what we have discussed. Summary lang to, no? So for a simple interest rate, a promissory note is actually a loan with a term of usually less than 1 year. Okay, usually ang mga promissory notes mga less than 1 year yan. Okay, iba na kasi pag more than 1 year. Okay, there's another term for that. Okay, ganun din dito sa simple discount. Okay, same thing, less than 1 year. Okay, so for the simple interest, you pay it back at the date of the maturity. One payment lang din. And the maturity value will be equal to your principal plus your interest. Okay, and the principal or the face value is not the same as the maturity value. So magkaiba yung face value. The face value or the principal is different from the maturity value, and the maturity value will always be greater than the face value because of the interest component. Okay, in the same manner, the simple discount is also paid back one time at maturity, and the face value will be the same as the maturity. If the face value is 14,000, then the maturity value will be 14,000. Okay, so that's a difference between simple interest and simple discount. All right, here for simple interest, the interest is just computed by PRT. Okay, interest computed based on the face value or what is actually borrowed. So we had this in our problem 186.67. Here, interest is also computed on maturity value or what will be repaid. Take note, interest here is not computed based on the proceeds. Interest is based on the face value, okay, not on the proceeds. Since the maturity value is the same as the face value, then we can say here that the interest is computed based on the maturity value also. It was the same, 186.67. Maturity value here is different compared to discount note. For discount note, the maturity value is equal to the face value. For simple interest, the maturity value is the face plus the interest. Okay, here for simple interest, the borrower will get the face amount, which we call the proceeds. Here, the proceeds will be netted against the bank discount. Less. Effective rate, the true rate is the same as the stated rate, 8% in this case. The effective rate is higher than the stated rate. Okay. 8.11. All right. And then simple interest, it's used frequently instead of the simple discount note. Not used so much, no? Although US rule to, no? Although in the Philippines, ina-allow naman, no? But it's not used so much. Okay. All right. Here we have an example of, okay, let me pause for a while. Any questions? Any questions, class, whatsoever? So far? Okay. So let's continue. We have some more minutes. I just want us to be at par with the other section that I'm discussing this with. Sorry for this federal issue as no. So loan, treasury bill is also a loan. It's just like a note, no? Kaso if it's a government that's borrowing, it's called a loan. So we're loaning it to the federal government. It's a loan by the government. It's like an IOU. It's like a promissory note. And of course, when the government borrows, the risk of the default is really very, very low. So kaya nga, sometimes this is called the treasury bill, sometimes called the riskless asset. Walang risk dito. No? You don't assume any risk because the government can really, worst comes to worst, they can print money and then pay. Okay? So sa Philippines, usually yung T-bills natin, ang tenor niya, 31 days, 91 days, 181 days, and 300, sometimes 361, 362. So may mga ganon. So the government identifies the number of days. No? 31-day T-bill, 91-day T-bill, 180 or 181-day T-bill, sometimes 361-day T-bill or 365 nga. Isa may nakikita ako. Okay, but a treasury bill is a short-term, it's a short-term loan by the government. Okay? So yung computation ng dito, dun sa discount will be the same. Okay, so if you buy, for example, a 10,000 13-week treasury bill at 8%, how much will you pay and what is the effective rate? Okay? So since you're borrowing the treasury bill, ikaw yung nagpapautang. No? The treasury bill is the one issued by the government. The government is the one borrowing. Okay, so please take note of that. If you're buying a treasury bill, you are lending the government money. Okay, it's the government that issues the treasury bill. The government is borrowing. In this case, 10,000 daw, no? 10,000 daw. And then the tenor is 13 weeks. So this is weekly, no? Weekly. So we will have to convert this into year then, ba? Kasi ang rate na 8% na to, this is per annum. So what will be the discount? Okay, the discount will be 10,000 times 0.08 times 13 over 52. Okay? 10,000 times 0.08 times 13 over 52. This is the face amount, this is the discount, and this is the term. So why 13 over 52? Because this is in weeks. So to convert 13 weeks into years, so you divide it by 52. Okay, therefore the proceeds or the cost, what you're going to pay to get this investment is the face amount minus the discount. So you're just going to pay to buy this investment 9,800. Parang you're going to lend out 9,800. Okay, and at the end of the 13-week, okay, you will be paid the 10,000. Okay, so this is from the perspective of the lender. We are the lenders here. So we're lending the government money, no? 10,000. Okay, 10,000, pero ang proceeds natin will be not the what will be paying is 9,800. So ang proceeds ng government is 9,800. Kasi we're on the other side, no? Tayo yung nagpapahiram. So it's the government that gets 9,800. All right? And maturity, the government will pay 10,000. So we can compute for the effective rate. The effective rate is the discount at 200 divided by the proceeds times the term, 13 over 52. So the the effective rate is actually 8.16%. We're actually earning 8.16% and not 8%. Okay, so let me pause for a while. Let me allow you, if you're copying, okay, and if it's clear to you guys, kindly chat.
So sir, when we're lending to the government, do we give them 10,000 or do we only give them
No.
9,800?
Yeah, we give only 9,800.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, I have a question po again.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Sir, kasi po usually laging single number lang po yung 8%, diba? So pag kinumpit mo siya sa calculate, 0.08. What if sir is 18% naman po? Is it going to be 0.018 or 0.80 na agad?
0.18 na.
Okay, diretso na po siya.
0.18. Kasi yung decimal, okay, sige, clarify natin yan, ha? Okay, so to convert ito, 0.08, no? How do you convert this into percent? You move 2 decimal places, 1, 2. So 0.08 is just the same as 8%. Okay, yung 0.18 naman, 0.18, convert it to decimal. When you convert decimal to percentage, you move 2 decimal places. So 1, 2. So we're just validating 18%. All right. Corollarily, yung 8% na to, if you convert it into 2 decimal places, kasi ibig sabihin ng 8%, di ba? 8% is 8% is centum. So that's 100. Okay, so that what did you learn in your algebra? When you're dividing by 100, it's the same as you move 2 decimal places, no? So this is 0.08. Yeah. On the other hand, yung 18%, that's 18%. So you convert it into fraction muna. So that's 18 divided by 100. So if you convert this into decimal, you move 2 places then. So that's 0.8. Okay, careful kayo dyan, ha, guys. Marami din nagkakamali dyan. Many commit mistake also in converting decimals to fractions. Okay, did that answer your question?
Yes po, sir. Thank you po.
Okay, sige. Okay, feel free, guys, to ask questions. Any more questions?
Sir, so what do you call the 200? Because if you look at the formula, it's basically the same as PRT, which is the same thing for interest. But so do we call the 200 interest or is that cost?
Tinawag lang natin dito na cost. Kasi, pero that's actually the discount. We can call it the no, that's actually, sorry, that's called the proceeds. Okay, we just gave it a special name, but it's actually the proceeds. Kasi how does the government borrow in the form of treasury bills? You do not directly go to Bangko Sentral or Department of Finance. The government issues the treasury bills to banks. So, especially if kilala kayo ng bangko, they will offer you, ay, may T-bills daw. May offering yung government ng T-bills. So they'll invite you to invest, okay? So sandali, kasi I'm not just sure kung this is the US way, ano. Kasi I recall, I don't invest in treasury bills na kasi masyadong maliit lang din naman yung ano, the interest is just really very small. So, but I recall before if I invest in treasury bills, if I recall right, ang ginagamit simple interest. Okay, but let me guys, I'm sorry, this is US ano kasi, no? Apologies for this. This is US context. Okay, so we're using this treasury bills sa US context. This is how the US does it. So let's assume we were in the US. If the bank invites you to invest in a treasury bill, so for the $10,000 investment, what you're only going to give is 9,800, and then at the end of the 13 weeks, you'll be getting $10,000. So this is similar to a discount. Okay, because what you're going to we're in the investor here. No? So what we're going to pay is not the face value, but the face value minus the discount. Okay, so this makes it a simple discount. Note in a sense. Kasi ang note, it's the same as bill. A bill is an IOU. Right? So yung cost, guys, it's just the same as proceeds. So the 9.8 is the one that we're going to give to the bank. Okay, it's the bank that collects for the government in this case. Okay, did that address your question? Who was the one who asked the question? Sorry, hindi ko nakita. I wasn't able to see who asked the question.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right. It's already time, guys. Ay, hindi pa. Sorry. Hindi pa pala. I was looking at the wrong watch. No? We still have 3 minutes.
naman sa early dismissal para sa block namin.
Uy, last time we had early dismissal, di ba? Did we? Okay, anyway, just a little na lang. Tapusin na lang natin to. Kasi para pareho lang so that we have the same. Okay. All right. Ito. Can we discuss this in 8 minutes? Sige, quickly lang, guys, just for you to have an idea. Okay, so here is a problem where we want to compute for the face value, the rate, and the time for a simple interest note. Take note, this is simple interest note. Okay, so we know this formula. We have met this formula. Where's my digital pen? Okay. This one is just the maturity value is equal to the principal times 1 plus RT. Okay, this is what we discussed last time. If we distribute the P here, this becomes P plus, then distribute P here again, PRT. Yeah? So this is just the principal plus the interest. That's which is your market value. So this person paid, okay, take note, paid, okay, paid a 150-day note. So this person, si Walker, is a borrower. So he paid off a 150-day note at 6% with a single payment, also known as the balloon payment. It's called the balloon payment because you borrowed something, but at the end, you pay off something bigger. Why? Because it includes the interest. So it's called also the maturity value for a simple interest is also called balloon payment. Okay, so we're paying off 2550. So we're asked to find the face value and the interest. Okay, so how does this problem go? So we borrowed, Walker borrowed, then after 150 days, okay, when the loan matured, he paid. How much did he pay? 2550. This 2550 is your maturity value. So it contains both the face plus the interest there. Okay, the question is, going back here, what was the face value and what was the interest paid? Okay, so that's this problem. So based on this one, we know that the maturity value, okay, it's already time. So just this last one, guys, maturity value is equal to the principal times the factor 1 plus RT. We know the rate. The rate is 6%. We know also the time. The time is 150 divided by 360. Okay. Since we know this one, we know this one. We know also the maturity value. It's 2550. Therefore, we can compute for the principal or the face value. Okay. So based on this formula, the principal is equal to M divided by 1 plus RT. So substituting, we have the maturity value 2550 divided by 1 plus, the rate is 0.066% times R, 150 days divided by 360. Okay, we convert into years. So we now have 2550 divided by 1025. And it gives us, okay, 2550 divided by, maybe this is 1.025. Okay, 2550 divided by, okay, just kindly check. No, it's not 1025. I think it's maybe 1.025. Okay, so we get this 2487.80. So this is now our face value. So we were borrowing 2487.80. This is the principal, that's the face value. Okay, therefore, we can now compute also for the interest. The interest is simply equal to the maturity value minus the principal. So you subtract 2487 from 2550, and that gives us the interest of 62.20. Okay, so let me end there, class. So next meeting we're going to finish this. We're going to, I think by next meeting, we just flash the remaining slides. Okay, we have one last very important lesson. Okay, next meeting. So we'll cover everything in the next meeting. Okay, with that, class, I'm going to stop recording now. And thank you so much, guys. I really enjoyed